Hi, welcome back to the show. It's actually not moving at all for the market, so good time to talk about the big event that lays ahead of us, the big budget that is next week. We've been talking about different sectors and the expectations over there. Let's focus on the oil and gas sector. LK Gupta, the Managing Director and CEO of SR Oil, joins us to tell us what the industry is expecting this time around from the Finance Minister. Mr. Gupta, thanks so much for joining us on the show. First, let's talk about some of the key expectations. The biggest one of them is, an increase in the import duty on crude and petroleum products that is widely expected this time around. Are you expecting it to come through? And if it does, what kind of an impact would it have on some of these downstream companies, etc.?
Basically, if the duty on the crude is increased and if correspondingly the duty on the product is also increased, which has been the trend generally all along last time, then it is generally neutral to the refineries. So while it is all expected that there will be a duty on crude, and simultaneously the duty on the product also will increase by the same amount. So on refinery, generally this will be neutral as far as revenues are concerned.
Okay. Are there any expectations other than this that you have from the budget in terms of, say, tax holidays, investment kind of benefits, tax benefits?
Yeah, I think the government has started in right direction in last month with the deregulation of diesel, and we would definitely like to see this getting reflected in budget also in terms of reduction in diesel subsidies, making the diesel at market driven prices in what the government intends is about 12 to 18 months. So this is something definitely we would like to see in the budget. Then refining is today the largest exporter in terms of revenue. So we would definitely expect that government takes good policies in terms of promoting the refineries. And particularly, you all know that we are almost importing 75 to 80% of crude oil to meet our demands, gas. So I would expect that the government lays a lot of emphasis on promoting E&P. Today, E&P is subject to the service tax for offshore, and which is not, they are not able to avail the set-off. So government should consider their request in terms of either withdrawing the service tax or giving refund on offshore activities. Gas is today becoming very, very costly for refineries whenever we use. So it should also be, the duty should be brought at par with crude oil, so that when we use crude oil or gas in alternate, it is basically cost neutral. And in case of E&P, government should also really promote and give tax incentive in terms of tax holidays, because we are largely import dependent, and anything which really helps us to improve our crude oil production, gas production will have two impact. One, it will definitely save the import, and it will also impact our trade deficit and balance of payments.
So on an average,
I would definitely expect government. And one more thing, Lata, before you say, I would also expect that the duties, excise duties on the branded fuels, because what is happening is that today, because of the large difference in excise duties on normal petrol and diesel versus branded petrol and diesel, the sales of premium fuels have virtually become negligible. Now this is something which, as highly import dependent country, we should really look at it, because when you sell branded fuel, basically that improves the efficiency of vehicle, that improves the consumption, reduces the consumption. So the government really should look at rationalization of excise duty with reference to branded fuel versus non-branded fuel.
Just for my reference, on an average, what is the sales tax for natural gas currently, and how much do you think it needs to be brought down by in order to become cost neutral for companies?
No, what I said was basically the custom duty. Today on natural gas or LNG, when we import, it is 5%, and that 5% being a basic duty, we don't get any SENVAT. Whereas if, let's say, if it was a natural gas of Indian origin or indigenous, so either there will be excise duty which will get 100% SENVAT, or presently there is no excise duty on gas. So since we are importing gas only because we don't have, so this government should consider and remove basic custom duty on gas.
Actually, if there is indeed that 5% duty which Sonia was speaking about on crude oil, how does that change your arithmetic at all?
No, if there is a duty, normally whenever the duties are imposed on crude oil, correspondingly the duties are also increased in the petroleum products.
Okay.
So the differentials more or less remain same.
So it makes no difference at all to your...
removed from so then it will be neutral, then there will be no difference.
Okay. What about this declared good status for gas? I mean, this is a long-standing demand that the industry has had. Is there any expectation this time around at all? And if it comes through, what could the benefits be?
Yeah, the demand on gas being declared as declared goods is a long-pending demand. What basically today the gas is taxed at almost 15%, 16%, 14% VAT. Whereas if it is brought under declared goods, I think the best it can be taxed is about 4-5%. So today the gas has become so costly that it is really impacting the profitabilities and the cost of production of all the manufacturing sector. So the demand has been from the industry all along is that it should be taxed at declared goods, because what happens is that when you have the natural gas which is coming from indigenous sources, generally it is taxed at CST, and CST being 2% today, with reference to import it becomes very costly.
Okay, well, just to dwell a little bit, Mr. Gupta, on your own company, you of course stunned the market with that huge premium to Singapore GRMs that you reported. That's maintainable, you think?
No, I think I have always been saying that the difference what we have reported is largely because we have completed our expansion and optimization and also the coal-based power plant, which means that now our crude slate is very heavy and ultra heavy, giving us benefit on the crude oil prices, and we have the product slate which is almost 85% light and middle distillates, which means that we are getting that benefit in the product revenue. So to this extent, and also because of the coal-fired power, we get the advantage versus the fuel oil-based or naphtha-based power. So these differentials, what we have actually reported, is a structural change in the SR oil GRM.
And therefore maintainable, you're saying?
Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to ask you also about that permission you took for raising equity up to 3,000 crores. There was a season of QIPs ended perhaps a few days ago. Will you be taking advantage of the slightly improved equity environment, of course, if we deducted the last week or so?
No, actually, this 3,000 crores what we were planning was at a time when this SEBI had not clarified about the GDS being counted for this 75% or not.
Okay.
So now SEBI has very clearly said that GDS are not to be counted for this calculation, and if we exclude the GDS, in case of SR oil we are less than 75%.
Okay.
So that is not needed at all. And secondly, for sales tax also, I mean, you are aware that our sales tax issue finally got resolved by Supreme Court, and we have got time and also standby facility. So we are not planning any issue right at this point.
No, but
Okay,
still
the
it's not
reason
a very pleasant debt equity situation.
Yeah, that's
so.
actually what my question was as well. I mean, the reason we ask is because the next trigger for the company, now that you've achieved operational stability, is the bringing down of debt and the reduction of interest costs as well. Can you give us any clarity on how much you plan to bring down debt by in this calendar year itself?
And therefore persist with the debt equity ratio. Is there any equity raising on that account?
Okay, now one is that we have completed our capex program, so in next 2 years there is hardly any capex which we are required to do, and so there is no requirement with reference to capex. And secondly, the type of GRMs we have reported and the type of structural changes we have experienced because of expansion and optimization and coal fire, our cash flows are expected to be very healthy for time to come. And we feel that with this and also with the refinancing approval which we have got from Reserve Bank of India to refinance rupee loan by ECBs of about $2.27 billion, We expect that our cash flows in next 2 years should be quite sufficient to bring our debt equity to a level which is acceptable to about 2.5 or so.
Okay. We'll leave it at that, Mr. Gupta. Thank you very much indeed for joining us with your views both on the macros and the micros. We'll take a break. Up next is our personal finance guest.